And now, marine weather around Alaska.
And starting off with the marine forecast here, we've got west winds at 20 knots forecast for Thursday on the south coast. Not much different here for the north and central coast. West winds 15 to 20 knots. South winds at 10 for Lynn Canal. Northwest winds at 10 for Stevens Passage, and northwest 15 for Clarence Strait, with seas on the inside waters 2 to 3 feet. Out here along the coast, seas running 5 to 7 feet. And for the day on Friday, light variable winds for the inside waters, 5 to 10 knots with 2-foot seas. And for the coastline here, northwest winds, 10 to 15 knots, seas running 4 to 5 feet. And for the North Gulf Coast and Prince William Sound, look for variable winds tomorrow at 10 knots with seas in the Sound at 2 feet. 6 feet there out in the Gulf, and southwest 15 for the Barren Islands. South winds 20 knots for Kamishak Bay, otherwise southerlies at 15 for Cook Inlet with 3 to 4 foot seas. And for Friday, Cook Inlet, variable winds, light and variable winds for northern Cook Inlet at 10 knots with slight seas. Northeast at 10 for southern Cook Inlet, again seas around 2 feet. Small craft advisories for the Kamishak Bay area and the Barren Islands, east winds 25 knots with seas at 5 feet. And for the Prince William Sound zone, light variable winds continue. Variable 10 to 15 for the eastern North Gulf Coast, east at 20 for the western coast. And for Kodiak Island, south to southwesterlies 15 to 20 knots for Thursday, seas 5 feet. Bristol Bay, southeast winds at 20 knots with 3-foot seas. And east-southeast winds 20 to 25 knots. For the Alaska Peninsula, seas running 4 to 6 feet. And for the day on Friday, the Alaska Peninsula, southwest winds 15 knots with 3 to 6 foot seas. South at 15 for Bristol Bay with 3-foot seas. Small craft advisories for Shelikof Strait, northeast wind 25 knots, seas at 5 feet. And for the east side of Kodiak Island, south winds 20 knots and 4-foot seas. For the eastern Aleutians, east-southeast winds for the day Thursday at 20 to 25 knots, with those seas running anywhere from 5 to 10 feet. Adak and Atka, southwesterlies at 15 knots. And for the western Aleutians, southwest winds 15 to 20 knots, with the seas all through this area running 4 to 8 feet. For Friday, for the western Aleutians, call it Shimiatakiska, west winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 6 to 7 feet. 4 to 6 foot seas with southwest winds at 15 knots for Amchitka Island. And for Adak and Atka, look for south winds at 15 knots with seas running 3 to 6 feet. And for the Fox Islands, south-southeasterlies at 15 knots with 3 to 6 foot seas. And for the southwest coast, tomorrow, southeast wind at 15 knots, seas only 3 feet. And for the Pribilof Islands, southeast at 20 knots with 6-foot seas, 7-foot seas for St. Matthew Island with an east wind at 20. And for Norton Sound and St. Lawrence Island, 2 to 3-foot seas with southeasterlies only at 10 knots. Then for the day on Friday, east winds at 10 for Norton Sound, St. Lawrence Island. And for the southwest coast, east-southeast wind 15 knots, still 2 to 3-foot seas. South at 15 for the Pribilofs, east at 15 for St. Matthew Island, seas in both areas around 5 feet. And heading up into the Arctic there for the Beaufort Sea coastline, north to northeasterlies 5 to 10 knots, northeast at 10 knots for the western Arctic coast and the Chukchi Sea. Northeast winds at 10 knots with seas 2 feet in the ice-free areas. And then for the day on Friday, easterly winds now at 15 knots to the central and eastern Beaufort Sea coast with seas at about 3 feet. East at 20 for the western Arctic coast, 4-foot seas there. And for the Chukchi Sea, east-northeast winds at 10 to 15 knots with seas at 2 to 4 feet.